Christy J with Stitchin Heaven, and this is Schoolhouse Dash. This week we are on our final week of the sew along, so this is your last block. So give yourself a hand if you went all the way through it and finished this quilt. We can't wait to see your finished product. We're excited. So today is just a very classic, simple block. It's called the bow tie, and you're going to make 4 of these. So make sure you download your instructions. It's an easy peasy block again, but these actually go in the corners. So these are the 4 corners of your quilt. And all of these blocks that we've done are simple, easy blocks and techniques you can take all the way into your quilting journey. So we hope you've enjoyed it. Just make sure you keep posting your blocks because we love seeing them, and we're doing some giveaways by Island Boutique. And just enjoy. And here's Mitzi.
All right, next up I've got the bow tie. Now this is going to be in all 4 corners of your quilt. And it is a simple block, really fun to make, really quick, and can be super cute with your fabrics. On this one, we're going to go ahead and we've got the white and the parchment of our Island Boutiques. And I'm going to walk you right through it. It's going to be very easy to do. You're going to be surprised how fast this block goes together, and you've only got 4 of them to make. So stay tuned and watch for that one. Okay, are you ready for bow tie now? Very easy one to do and a lot of fun. We've been doing so many half square triangles along the way with this that this one's going to kind of throw you off a little bit with the marking, but trust me, it's super easy, super fun to do. So you're going to have 4 pieces of your Island Boutique fabrics, large pieces in there. You got the parchment and the white, and then you've got 2 of your smaller square pieces in the parchment. Now on this one itself, you've got 4 blocks to do with this, and they are actually the corner pieces of the full quilt. So let me show you your first steps on it. So we're going to take the parchment first, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to line up again. I'm going to use my Creative Grid Stitchin Heaven ruler and my marking pen here, and this is my Sew Line Error Erase pen. So the color's going to come out anyway. We're going to stitch down this line versus on the side of it like you would with half square triangles. And don't worry though, with this one, within no time, the color doesn't even exist anymore on the quilt. So I'm going to draw a line straight down that diagonal. Let me just get it lined up just right using my ruler there, my Creative Grids ruler. Straight down. Let me do it one more time because we're going to use 2 of these pieces with each one, with each block. All right, great. Okay. So that's only the markings I need to do. Now you'll just obviously for each block, but I'm just going to show you on one right now. So I've got my pieces directly down on that diagonal drawn. I'm then going to take a piece of my white squares, my larger white ones. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay this corner to corner so it literally lays just right on top of my white. So just like that, I'm just laying it directly right on top. Now if you're more comfortable putting a pin in it, no problem, put a pin in it. Just put it on there away from your stitch line. So I'm just going to put it right there, just in that little corner. So I'm going to take this piece over to my machine, and I'm actually stitching on that drawn line, not to the side of it, but directly on it. So I'm just going to line that right up in the center of my foot. I'm going to go ahead and put my needle into it, and let me stitch that down. Easy enough on that one. Go ahead and cut my threads. I've got 1 more to do for each block. So I'm going to go ahead and take my piece and my white. I'm just going to line it up exactly the same as I did the last one. Just putting those corners one right on top of the other. Put my pin in. Okay. Again, straight down that center, straight down that diagonal line. I'm going to put my stitches in. I'm going to go ahead and cut. Take my pin out of the way. Now you can use your rotary cutter for this. I've grabbed my scissors or closer. I'm actually going to trim off all this excess here. So all of this section here on this outside is going to get cut away. So what I'm going to do though, I want to leave my 1/4 inch seam. So I'm going to come in and basically look at a 1/4 inch. If you've quilted enough, you can eyeball a 1/4 inch pretty easy. If not, grab your ruler and one of your rotary cutters and do that and just trim that away. So let me do it on the other one too. And that is just going to be a throwaway section of that trimmings that are coming off. Okay, so those, we're not going to need those anymore. They're out of the way. All right, Let's go ahead and let me get my iron, make sure it's nice and hot. It is. And I'm gonna press this out towards the parchment. So what happens is it now takes over that space that was the corner of that white piece. So let me just press that out. Real easy to do on this one. And there you go. So I've got my corners. So now I'm going to grab my parchment pieces, my larger parchment squares, and these are just going to line up. Everything lines up across from each other. Okay. So I'm going to lay this out. So there's my bow tie. Oh, lost it. Let me relay that out. Tilted too far, that happens. But I want you to be able to see just how it lays out there. So there we go. We're laying it right out. So easy to make from here. I'm going to take my first two, think of it like a row, and I'm going to lay those together just as I picked them up. And I'm going to stitch those down. Again, 1/4 inch seam. So your white block is attaching onto your parchment, your larger parchment block. Same way on the next one. Just going to roll one right over the top of the other. So this time, because of the way they were laying there, my parchment is on top of the white. Let me go ahead and feed that through also. Super easy block to do, but it's really cute, and I like the fact that it's kind of those corner points of the quilt. It kind of just accents those with that little bit of a bow tie. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and press the parchment. All right, let me just lay that over. Give that a good amount of heat in there. I want that seam to lay really nice and flat for me. There's that one. Let me turn that over. There we go. Make sure my iron is still staying hot, because we're going to have one more good press to go. Now from here, I'm literally just taking that center seam, is all I'm doing is I put it together. So I've just got to put those, everything is directly across from each other. So I'm just going to lay that over. I'm going to go ahead and put a pin in that center seam, because I just want to make sure it stays really nicely nestled together. Just put one pin in there, and then I'm going to put one pin on each of the longer sides, and that's just to help hold it together as I get closer to the ends. You can put as few, pins in there as you want. If you want to put a few extra in there, if you're more comfortable with it, go for it. Snips out of the way. Just gonna make sure my corners, my end pieces are all lined up. Sticking with that back to that 1/4 inch seam allowance all the way down. Feed it on through. Take your time when you go through that center. Let the machine feed it through for you. You're not having to rush. Don't try to force it through your machine. There's not that many seams it has to go over right there, but we still don't want to push it through and rush it, because you certainly don't want to take any chances of stretching your fabric. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and do a quick press. I'm putting just a little bit of steam in there. I just really want to make sure it's nice and firm as it comes through. Flip that over. Lay it out. And press it down. And that is perfect on there. All right, that's the bow tie. It is that simple, that easy. Now, if you got really close, because I can see this, my marking pen, I can see that right now, but I'm using air erase, so probably within about an hour or so, I wouldn't even be able to see it's there. So just make sure, if you're using a water erasable, if your pen is still showing up where you marked your line there, you can always take that out. But using the air erase, it'll be gone, within an hour or so. But that is the bow tie. How simple and quick and easy was that one? That one's a fun, fast one to do. You've got 4 of these to do. They're gonna go in your corner points of your full quilt. So have fun and make your bow ties.